Make sure you check him out with John McMullen on Birds 365. So we're going to do this. Hold on here now. We're going to do this same test here for my boy, Philly.500 here. Hang on here. Let me get. Oh, here we go. Okay. Without further ado, he's redefined it now, by the way. His name is Champion 500. It's not just, it's not Philly 500. It's 500. The champ. The champ is back. Without further ado, the man who's got one of the best channels covering the Philadelphia Eagles, our friend, Philly.500, the champ, joins us now. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, but it's last name Champ, first name Golden. Golden era, baby. That's what I'm talking about,
bro. All right.
We kicking ass, Sills. We kicking ass.
Are you kicking ass? So what are you kicking ass
love it.
on? What are you kicking ass?
You see Mark Holmes lately? I rest my case.
Yeah. No, I sent him text messages, man. He don't even respond anymore. And I say, hey, that's what happens when you're third in the NFC East.
That's right.
You don't really get an opportunity to respond to anything anymore.
Right. Now he's praying. Now he's praying for Amari Cooper. Give me Amari Cooper. Yeah.
Amari Cooper. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question out of the gate here.
Okay.
Why is it so hard for Philadelphia Eagle fans to embrace Nick Siranni? And I'm going to do this to you here. I'm going to go down the list here. These are the coaches and people who I think in the building were instrumental outside of players that 1 year 2024 championship. Okay. Stoutland, Vic Fangio, Howie Roseman, Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni. I got Bobby King. I mean, look at what Bobby King did. He reinvented Zach Bond and he saved Nakobe Dean. And look at what he did with Oren Burks, how important that whole crew was. And I got Clint Hurt sitting there at 7. In your opinion, Philly.500's opinion, who do you believe that Philadelphia Eagle fans and people believe is the most instrumental person in why they won and had a championship season last year?
Not including players, right?
Not including players.
Well,
7.
Maybe they're mad at Nick for ordering Pizza Hut when he's in Philly and there's all these other pizza places you could get. Maybe that's what they don't like.
What I would say to you is if you're the head coach of Philadelphia and you're ordering from Pizza Hut and not ordering from one of the homegrown places, you automatically don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. That might have been a problem, but that was a few years ago. But in all seriousness, I would say Howie Roseman would have to be the first. I mean, I think that the all-season moves that he made leading up to that were spectacular. I mean, they almost all hit. And then I think it's fair to say Vic Fangio, because of what he did defense. But after that, I'm going to put Nick. I'm going to put Nick because
over Jeff Stoutland.
Yeah, I am, and here's why: because they had a historical collapse the year before, a collapse where I don't think most coaches ever come back from. Yet, he was able to hold it together. He was able to have those players still believe in him, still back him up. And I think he was a big part of holding that, especially when they started 2-2 together. And I think he deserves probably more credit than he gets.
Okay. Number 4, you'd probably then go Stoutland over Bobby King, Clint Hurt.
Yeah, we go Stoutland.
Kellen Moore. Fair. So you think Nick had more to do with the team's winning than Kellen Moore?
I think Nick had more to do with keeping the team together that allowed everybody else to flourish around it. Because I don't think that most coaches that collapsed the way they did the year before would have, first of all, been back. Second of all, kept those guys playing for him. And I think he did that. And I think Nick's ability to kind of take a back seat, listen, and adjust, I think is very underrated about him.
Who would you put four there? Would you put Kellen Moore or would you put Stoutland?
So I'd probably put Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. Let's just go 5 here. So 5, you'd probably put Stoutland with that great 2005 rushing attack, the developing of the O-line. Or would you put Bobby King or Clint Hurt there?
No, I'd probably put Stoutland.
Okay.
And then one guy I think that I'd also put up there is Christian Parker.
Okay, secondary coach.
I mean, look at that secondary, how well they played. They were fantastic.
Well, here are my 5. I got Stoutland 1. I got Vic 2. I got Howie 3. I got Kellen Moore 4. And I got Nick 5. Don't you think that's one of the reasons? And even on your list, you had 2 guys ahead of the head coach. Don't you think that's one of the issues that kind of overshadows the head coach, that people in Philadelphia and Eagle fans? I mean, bro, Kansas City, nobody fucking respects anybody more than, if you're not talking players, than Andy Reid. Same thing with Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Same thing with Harbaugh in Baltimore. I mean, same thing with Sean McVay in Los Angeles.
But think about all those guys.
When you're not the most respected guy by your own fan base, I mean, doesn't that oversee it?
But think about it. Every guy you just mentioned, Andy Reid, Tomlin, right? All these guys have been there, 10 years at one place? How long has Andy Reid been in the league?
Yeah, but those guys make their own hires.
But I also think that the length amount of time that they've been coaches and been successful, they've gained the respect of everybody else. So nobody questions them. I think Nick, being fairly a younger coach, coming off a season in which they totally collapsed. I mean, I can't talk about that more. I thought they were going to make it 30.
I think that has a lot to do with even him winning, still with a bad taste in people's mouths with the 23. I think, listen, him winning it, I still think there's a bad taste on how 23 ended because of that. And I'm going to point something else out to you. You make a great point here. Okay, well, will Nick ever get his justice as long as Howie Roseman's in the building? Because the more they win, the more he gets credit for it. Wouldn't you not agree? The guy who gets credit the most for the wins and the guy who actually takes the most for the losses is Nick. Nick takes all the heat for the losses. The guy who gets all the credit for the wins is the GM.
Right.
I mean, look at the latitude. Look at the latitude he's getting now with his football team. I make this point to people. The Eagles, did they get worse? Did they stay the same? Or did they get better? And yet to be determined. I mean, Marlon Jomo is not a run stopper. Put his film on. He's not a run stopper. He's not the versatility of Milton. And that, one of the things that helped that defense out, that I think you're going to have a tough time replacing some of these guys. And it's not going to be a quick fix like that.
We'll see.
Well, wait a minute. It took those other guys 3-4 years to build up their equity to be able to play. You're asking guys who've never been in the building.
If you want to say Milton Williams, okay, that's fair enough. Milton Williams, but
Sweat was
Josh Sweat was a good player.
He was there 6 years though.
But how many double-digit sacks did he give us?
You think
they almost got rid of him the year before that because they said he wasn't playing the run.
Okay, but Philly, okay. So a guy who's been there 6 and the other guy 4, you think a guy's going to come in for 4 months and replace him?
No, I don't think necessarily 4 months. I think it's an ongoing thing. But it's the same thing, when you apply that to the players, you could also apply that to Nick Sirianni. You can't act like he did nothing. He was no part of this. I mean, he was a big part of this. And he's not going to get the respect of an Andy Reid or Tomlin. He hasn't been there long enough. But give him time. I think I disagree. I think
you think he gets back, more? You think he'll get more respect than Howie Roseman? Eventually.
I'm not necessarily saying more than Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is a unique figure within sports, let alone for the Eagles. How many GMs in sports gets the amount of attention that Howie Roseman does? I think Howie is a very unique character. But as far as Nick, I think that if they continue to win and they continue to go out, I think that Nick will get the respect that he deserves I do. I think that comes with success, and I think that comes with longevity of being the coach.
Where is there another place in the NFL where the GM gets more respect than the head coach if they win? Except
I don't
Philly.
know. I don't know, but the
He'll
thing
never.
is
He'll
how
never.
many GMs across the league do the things Howie does, and have the ability and the flexibility to even do it? I mean, nobody could pull off on other teams half the stuff Howie has done. The owner deserves a lot of credit because the owner gives him the flexibility to make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, and he takes chances. And I think that pays off dividends. I think Howie's just a unique person to compare.
What's your favorite pick?
Oh, geez, I love them all. I would say the safety Mukumba is probably my favorite. He was my third best safety on my board, and I think they got a guy that could start this year. So I was very happy about that.
I think he's going to start, and I'll tell you this. I was having the discussion with Xander. See, I'm a guy that never gets caught up in the variables of what a guy's height and weight is. And everyone keeps going 5'11", 194. So let me ask you this. And I don't know if you heard, and I hope you didn't. So would you draft a defensive tackle? What if that kid Ty Robinson was 6 feet, 270 pounds, and he played DT? Would you draft him?
If I'm being honest, probably not. Probably not.
Well, then you just passed on Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I know. And that's how
my
crazy.
point about 5'11", 194, okay? You got to overlook that stuff and look at playmaker, the way he plays, the word that Howie used on the Rich Eisen show, explosive.
Mm-hmm.
See, people get too caught up in height and weight and 40 times. You got to get caught up on production. And if you're not faking in the first round, production has to be a catalyst if you go from 2 down to 7. My opinion. You agree?
I do. I agree. And I definitely think that I'm guilty of getting caught up in it. I do. I get caught up in he runs as fast as. I mean, it's natural, but you're right. There's so much more than just that. I agree completely.
All right, here, man. Now I'm going to give you a tough one here.
Okay.
Man, did you see the leader of that team on Monday, man, at the White House?
Oh, here we go.
Man, I fucking love watching the fucking leadership of Saquon Barkley. Man, did you see that? By the way, your Super Bowl MVP was, I think what I heard, he was getting ready to do a shot with Oprah. So I don't know. Either that he was getting ready. Or either that he was getting ready to go Hillary Hunt or Hillary Hurts, I should say. I don't know what we're doing here, bud. What'd you make it at, man? Give me the Philly.500.
You really? Oh boy, I don't know if you want to hear what I have to say about this.
Well, I'll tell you what we do, because you know why? Yesterday, Marcus Hayes went in on Trump. So I want to hear.
Okay, well, my personal opinion is that I would love to see all those guys there. I don't look at the whole thing as a political thing. I look at it as a traditional thing. So when I saw Barkley there, I had no problem with it. I was glad about it. But I thought the Eagles did the right thing in making it optional. And I think that Jalen Hurts not going, to me, is fine. I have no problem with him not going because it was optional. It's too divisive. It's too political right now that I don't see how you cannot make it optional. And what bothers me, to be honest, more than anything, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm probably getting in trouble for this, but you see cancel culture going in on Saquon Barkley. They're going in on him. Okay. Then as soon as Jalen Hurts says he doesn't go, people start going in on him. And I think it's a bad thing to start acting like those who are in cancel culture. If those people want to go in on Saquon Barkley, we should not be going in on Jalen Hurts because he made his choice. And the one thing we're not supposed to be doing is being like cancel culture. And I saw a lot of people wanting to cancel Jalen Hurts because he didn't go. I would have loved to see him go, but I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like the people going in on people because they choose a certain thing. If it's optional and it's his choice, then I respect it. And I respect both sides of it. That's how I see it.
I love your take. And I'll tell you why I love your take. Because I went to the White House and it was the last couple months of President Reagan. Okay. And back then, no one gave a shit about who was in the White House. You didn't care. You just have your team show up. You're stealing towels, stealing forks and shit out of the White House. You're having a meal. Nobody cared, But because today, it's too political not to make it optional. Is that your take?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. I think you're right. I think you have to make it optional.
But when it's optional, then we need to respect when a person doesn't do something we agree with. Like I said, if it was me, I don't care. I would go, and I would have loved to see Jalen and everybody else go. But if we're going to call it optional, then we have to stick with that. All right, Jalen didn't go. I would have liked him to see him go. I don't agree with it, whatever, but I respect his opinion. I don't want to be like the people saying, cancel this guy, cancel that guy, because he didn't agree with my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I do. But I would have one pushback with you here.
Okay.
2018, man, Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith didn't have the Sacagawea or the cannolis to fight Nick Saban on that because they went to the White House when Trump was in the White House then, and they went. Now, all of a sudden, man, time of the year, and, this guy here's got a calendar now. He's got to put everyone on your calendar. Hey, I'll get to you here. I got to go down to, Bora Bora and kind of, save and try to cancel or try to cure cancer here or go to Switzerland and shit. So he's got a big calendar now. He's a big dude. He's a Time Magazine Man of the Year. So I'm like – I'm just saying, now he's a big-time guy. I'm just saying, try to be consistent. That's all.
Yeah, but it's like, when it's that political and you're going to get shit either way, because that's what he is. I mean, none of those guys are in a win-win situation. Somebody's going to be unhappy with them no matter what. And, once you make your decision, I guess you just got to stick with it. I don't know. I don't think I would have loved to see everybody there. That's my take. I don't get it. I love seeing Barkley there. I was glad. But, I mean, I felt bad for some of the things that I see what people are saying about Barkley after, and I don't want to be that kind of person because somebody does something I don't agree with. I don't want to be them. They're losing the war. They're losing the whole culture war. People don't like cancel culture. Don't start acting like them. That's all I'm saying.
Is this a nothing burger in the locker room, or do you think this was just a news cycle thing?
Yeah, I think it's
this is not a big deal.
No, because I think the people that went are probably less judgmental. That's the be honest truth. I don't think they're going to judge it. So no, I don't. I think that's why you had to make it optional, though.
I like that.
Make it optional.
I like that. All right, dude. What's the plan at tight end?
Goddard. Dallas Goddard. You got to bring him back.
Really? So wait, I just saw that guy George Kittle signed for $19.2 million.
I know, and that sucks, and that worries me. But I mean, you didn't draft. Who do you have? So I mean, they got a kid coming in for a rookie visit, Malik Carr. He looks like he's got some talent, but we can't write him in to be the guy. We don't have another guy. They didn't draft the tight end. I don't see what other options they have. I think you got to stick with them. You got to work it out.
Boy, I'll tell you though, man, if you're Goddard, I mean, so you don't think that they're going to move him post June 1. I think they move him post June 1, or you're going to let him roll in and wait a minute. Now, to your point, so you're going to let him just play out like Javon Hargrave did. You're going to let him play out his final year because he's under contract. You owe him no money but the $14 million or whatever it is, and you're just going to roll into that season with him, right?
I don't see what choice you have. You can trade him or cut him, and then you have a giant hole there, and you have nobody else to replace him. If they want to give him some upfront money, more money this year, whatever, fine. But I don't think they got any tight ends. I mean, I think they would have liked to get a tight end, but the way the board fell, I think it worked out that way. I don't see them having an option but to keep them.
All right, man. Hey, by the way, did you? A lot of people are suggesting that the Washington Commanders are now going to be the team to win the National League East,
Yeah, I
or
don't
the
think so.
excuse me, the NFC East, and they're
Yeah,
going to be the team. Do you think anybody has closed the gap in the NFC?
I think the gap has been closed somewhat. I think the Rams made some moves to
Closer.
get better.
Okay.
I think Washington got a little bit better, but I think Washington really missed the boat with some of their moves. Like I don't understand why they got Debo and not DK Metcalf. Like to me, DK Metcalf was the move for them. Debo as a wide receiver, as a pure wide receiver, does not scare me. He needs to be used as a running back. He needs to be used all around, right? He's getting older. He can't stay healthy. They don't scare me. They lost some defensive linemen, right? They lost Fowler and stuff. Um, we might not score 50 points. We may score 40 points on them. That's how I see it. But, they don't, I don't think they did enough. And then you look at like Dallas. I think Dallas, everybody's talking about what a great draft they have. Have a completely different view. I think their draft was horrible. Not in terms of maybe 3-4 years down the road, but if you're trying to tell me that a quarterback, 32 years old this year, going into this season, had a chance to get a blue chip player like Tyler Warren that would affect that offense right away, and you didn't do anything to get better right away for this year, you blew it. They blew it.
I look at the Debo move a little different. Debo's not going in to be a star player. He's the number 2 guy. Terry McLaurin's the number 1 guy. So if you got a guy like Cliff Kingsbury that's going to be able to move him around, I agree with you there that he's got to be more of a Swiss Army knife kind of guy in that offense. I mean, but being a number 2 versus being the main guy,
right,
like he was out in San Francisco, that's not the role he's going to be asked to do in Washington.
Yeah, but the problem is he had a problem with doing that role in San Francisco. He didn't want to do it anymore. And then you have the injuries, and I just wonder if his body is not getting beat up because of the way they have used him. So to me, if Washington wanted to make a real impact against the Eagles, DK Metcalf would have been there with McLaurin on the other side. That would have been something significant, in my opinion. And I think they blew it.
I'm going to ask one last one here. I'm going to sneak this in on you. With all the stuff that's gone on here, but the White House, the Super Bowl.
I forgot the whole White House stuff. Like that's over.
That's
like
good.
I think people forgot about it already. That's what I'm saying. It's already over with. So that's why optional was the right way to go.
How about this? Would you like? I'd like to see that team on Hard Knocks.
I would too. I mean, I think it would be very entertaining. But doesn't teams like that go on Hard Knocks like usually have a bad year?
Bro, after what I saw Joe Schoen go through last year, I may never want to go on that thing, man. No way would I. That stuff's out there forever. Lying to Barkley like that, dude. Hey,
he kept his job.
Give us an opportunity. How about this? Give us an opportunity to match. Barkley said he knew when he hung up he was lying.
Yeah. And he kept his job, though. That's the crazy thing.
No. If you're an Eagle fan, that's the good thing.
It's a great thing. Extend them. Yeah, I actually think the Giants, I thought they had a good draft, but the Giants are, they're several years away. And I don't know what to make of the quarterback. So we'll see. But as far as, see with Dallas, you drafted a guard. Maybe he'll be good. Maybe, that pass rusher as Rocco will be good. But 3 years from now, when your quarterback's 34, 36, what are you going to do to be better this year to catch the Eagles? And they had Tyler Warren sitting there. So I can't get over it. And they passed up on him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 500, man. Channel's going great. By the way, you got rookie minicamp this weekend starting on Friday and Saturday. You got anything planned on the channel to promote?
I'll be doing videos depending upon how they do it. If there's going to be open to the public and stuff, and reporters will be down there, I might go live for it. I haven't decided yet. So, but I'll be definitely covering videos with it. So,
all right,
should be interesting.
Absolutely.
All right, my man.
Great stuff.
I got to go polish my ring. Time to go polish my ring.
Make sure you tell Mark Holmes, man. Hey, listen, the invitation's still open, but
he's
wobbling right now, so we're good.
He is. That tells you everything you need to know about what he feels about what the Cowboys are doing.
And I think it's
fact that he's
shocking
silent.
because, the Cowboys, the Cowboys are the world champions of the offseason. That's
Right.
what's the most incredible.
Right.
There's more world championship trophies in Dallas in the offseason
Right.
than any team in sports.
Well, he did a video trying to say that the Cowboys are catching the Eagles now off the draft, which he totally didn't believe, because if you saw his reaction to the first pick, he didn't like it. Now he's doing videos saying that they need to go out and get like DJ Moore or a wide receiver, maybe Amari Cooper. So he's real, and he knows they stink. He knows it.
Yeah, 500, great stuff. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate it.
You got it. That is Philly.500. Make sure you check his great channel out. Make sure you check his great show out. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button here. I got to tell you real quick, Ronald Reagan story. And we went to the White House in 87. I got to tell you quick, this was in the elevator. And I guess, 500 had a great take. It's a different time. Got to make that trip, I guess, optional now. Okay. And then people can dissect it any way they want. But I gotta give you a story here. So we're getting in the elevator. It was Jimmy, not Vinny. It was Jimmy, myself, Butch, Dave, President Reagan. Who else was in there? Stubbs and Melvin Bratton. We were in there, and elevator's going down to the reception area. We're all sitting in there. President Reagan just stops, takes a look at the elevator operator guy. Goes, Willie, how's the wife Scout? And Mr. President, the wife had surgery the other night, and she's doing very well. She's comfortable. Thanks for asking very much. And we're sitting there looking at that, and Ronald Reagan just sitting there going like this: you make sure you need anything from me, or you need anything from Nancy, you just make sure you let us know. We'll get it up to you right away. Okay. So the guy looks over, we're all looking at each other, and we get off the elevator, and the guy goes to the elevator operator's name. He knows him. That kind of always stuck in me. And when you were like, would you know an elevator operator? I wouldn't know that in my own building. And I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, kind of interesting too. Out of nowhere. Hey, Willie, how's the wife Scout? And it was like, yeah. Interesting. That was a crazy visit. Hit the like button. Sills, respect Philly's take, but I couldn't disagree more. If Laurie made it mandatory, he would have given every player cover. Had no choice, mandatory team event. I don't know. I'm not making anybody do anything. You make your own choices. I don't want you telling me how to think, and I'm not saying you are, Bob. No one will ever tell me how to think, right or wrong. I may be completely wrong on a take, which I am often, but it's not going to be because I listen to you. Okay? It's not going to be because I listen to you. That's not going to happen. That's not how I work. I hope that's not how a lot of people work. All right. We're going to look at it ourselves. Has the rest of the NFC caught up with the Eagles? Only one player from that 2022 contract extension class was there, Derek Stingley, from that 2022 class. So what does that mean for Jordan Davis? What does that mean for that draft class? I think that says a lot. I didn't like Marcus Hayes' energy yesterday. Yeah, but Leon, follow me here. And Leon, I respect your opinion. Marcus Hayes had the complete different view of what went on Monday than I did. Okay? But I respect it. Every person has a right to have his own opinion. That's what I'm a champion of. If he wants to think that way, more power to him, and I respect him for it. The problem I have with people is that you don't respect people. The people that don't respect other people's opinions have no respect for them and have no respect for people in general. They only respect their way of thinking. I respect people because they have conviction, right or wrong. And when Marcus was talking the way he was, I loved it. Marcus could not stand Trump. He hates him. Well, I respect him. I don't have a problem with him. Why would I? Why? Because he has free thinking? That's what this show is. I put 65% of the people that I put on my program disagree with me. You tune on any other show, 95% of the people they put on agree with the host. What kind of show is that? What kind of dialogue? It's called a debate show for a reason. Okay? And by the way, let me show you this here with M. Reyes. Hayes, W take. Okay? Well, as M. Reyes knows, I put his views on too. Not just mine. Where are you going to find that, Reyes? What show in Philly or anywhere else is going to have a guy come on his show and have a dissenting view to mine? See, I'm not afraid. Even though I think you're a horse's ass. Okay? Yeah. Thanks, brother. That's right, man. By the way, M. Reyes, I'll make one last thing here for you. For me not to put your way or another person's way of thinking on my program, I would be doing a disservice to you and others who come here just to put my views on. And you would never come here anymore. You come here because you know why? Hey, do I like all of it? No. Do you like all of it? No. All of, that's why our show, and I've always been successful in this. I mean, I can't just put one side and one person's thoughts on. How ignorant is that? Then I'm Fox or I'm CNN. Can't have that. I'll never be that. It's never going to be a one-way show. My way of thinking. Because my way of thinking is not always right. Boy, I never thought I'd have common sense. Don't let Sileo be the voice of reason. Then we're really all fucked up. Yeah. Man, I got to tell you, John Morgan texts me every single day. He's texting me about, hold on here. Here's John. Okay. So John Morgan just sent this to me. Jordan Hudson's outrageous Hard Knocks demands revealed as Bill Belichick's relationship drama intensifies. Okay, so I got to ask you this. I got to ask you this. Oh, John's going to be on with us. Thank you, Arthur. John's going to be on with us every Tuesday. Oh, he'll be back on. So let me read something here. And you tell me if this is odd or this is weird. What's her name again? His little gumad? What's her name? Jordan Hudson. Jordan Hudson. Net wealth. Oh my God. 8 million. Hold on. Let me put this in here. Okay. So this is in the New York Post. Follow along with me. Thank you again. Philly, you were fantastic. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I love to listen and respect all views, even ones you disagree with. Being able to exchange opinions is important. Absolutely, brother. That is fantastic, and I appreciate you more than you know. That is so great of him. He is such a great dude, man. Privilege to have him on. Really is. Yep, absolutely. This guy's legendary. And Xander introduced me, and we've had very few guys on. We had one guy on called